San Francisco malls are literally worthless, guys. Nobody wants to buy it. They downgraded the overall building's price. They pretty much made it go foreclosure. But has anyone come in and say they want to buy the building? In fact, not a single person wants to buy this building. It's a trash building. There's no tenants. You actually got to be kind of crazy to be willing to buy a building like this. And if you look at Westview Mall, it's now completely empty. Their vacancies are absolutely insane. And just across the street, another mall, the vacancies are at like 70%. And their office sector has a 94.6% vacancies. So it's getting worse and worse, guys. And you do see Westfield Mall, back to the end of 2021, the vacancy rates were about 27%. It wasn't too bad. And then pretty much this year, as the end of March, the vacancies were like over 50%. So it's getting worse and worse. And you do see a lot of these retailers leaving. And it's for a good reason. San Francisco now pretty much looks like this. We have a lot of international vloggers who walk the streets of San Francisco to give you guys a tour. And you do see it's getting emptier and emptier and emptier. Look at all of this prime retail space being completely empty. There's no one here. There's no tourists. Where are the office workers? Empty, empty, empty. And this is supposed to be like the daytime. And this is when like a lot of these stores are supposed to be open. Look at this. Another for lease sign. This is crazy. There's like more empty stores than stores that are open. And the malls are even crazier because the malls experience very high amounts of shoplifting. And Westfield has said numerous times that they keep calling the city to help them out with the shoplifting, but nothing ever happens. This is what happens when you open a business in like a super left and radical city like San Francisco. In fact, the criminals are treated like victims, and the criminals also have way more rights than you as a business owner. They can pretty much rob the crap out of you, and all they get is a slap on the wrist. Basically, robbing $950 in San Francisco is a misdemeanor, which is absolutely crazy. And that's only if you get caught. A lot of criminals in San Francisco usually don't get caught until they have a string of robberies, like 15 different stores, before they even get caught. And the punishments are usually extremely low. And like I said before, the cops want to do things, but they can't because they'll probably run the risk of getting canceled. And it's so bad that a 166-year-old luxury retailer in San Francisco is warning that this could be their last year. So these guys wrote a letter to the city council, the mayor, saying that, hey, if you guys don't help us out, if you guys don't actually enforce the laws and stop all this theft, shoplifting, and also homelessness in the city, we're probably going to leave after this holiday season. And like I said before, these guys are probably struggling with business. 2021 was probably an okay year for them, but 2022 and 2023 was super bad because that's kind of like the 2 years where a lot of these workers are leaving, a lot of the tourism has left, and as you can see, a lot of the condo buildings are completely empty. Real estate prices are down at an all-time low, and you can kind of see why. Stores are closed. These used to all be open. Guys, the vacancies for this area is usually like zero. Okay, usually when someone leaves, somebody comes in. The Bloomingdale's has left. These malls have left. And this is absolutely crazy, guys. The emptiness of the streets is crazy. And eventually, when it's empty and there's no one shopping, it's going to get taken over by homeless encampments, tents, etc. The few stores that are open are basically dying as well. They don't really have any business. And you can kind of see what I'm talking about, right? Even Westfield Mall, the moment they close, it pretty much looks like this now. Westfield Mall, the biggest mall in San Francisco, the finest one, is now just, I guess, a tent encampment. People just doing drugs. And if you go to the other side, there's even more of this. And this is happening everywhere in a lot of these abandoned buildings and streets of San Francisco. And the crazy thing is, has like the government or mayor of San Francisco even said anything about this? Absolutely not. There's nothing being said, which is like the craziest thing, right? Because you would think that something will be done to fix this, but it never gets done. And you even have people in the government saying that San Francisco's crime is so out of control that employees of the federal building, the Nancy Pelosi federal building in San Francisco, were instructed to not come to work because, one, you park a car at that area, you're probably getting your windows broken in. And two, they don't really want to take any chances with so many workers walking to work, walking through all of that craziness. Yeah, there's a chance of somebody getting hurt or robbed. So when they get to this point, when crime is so out of control that it's actually unsafe to just walk the streets, even in daytime, that employees just have to work from Zoom at that point, really shows you how much the city has deteriorated. If something like this happens, do you really think people will walk around for the mall? I don't think so. So this building is basically worth $0 because even if they sell it for super cheap, the expenses of a building like this is extremely high. Expenses are not cheap for these buildings. The HOA, the property tax, the maintenance fees are crazy for a building of this caliber. So if they don't at least have like 80% occupancy for the building, nobody wants it. Especially now, there's like zero. Every single retail has left. I mean, don't even talk about the mall. I mean, Union Square is completely empty at this point. Nobody wants to shop there. Nobody wants to be here. And this is a massive blow. The mortgage is downgraded. The building itself is downgraded a lot. And this building is worth $0. Nobody wants it. In fact, the people who initially bought this back several years ago, they were getting like really good business. Like the vacancy rates never hit more than 10% at any given time. But now it's so high that the building is so worthless right now. Nobody wants this building. This building's crap. It's $0. You sell it to me, I don't even want it because the expenses are so freaking high. So you do see that the mall is completely empty. It's very sad, it's very eerie considering just a year ago, it was still bustling with some people. And if you look at San Francisco, it's pretty much a really failed city. Car theft, any kind of theft of ice cream, absolutely crazy here. I mean, situations like these every single day, it's tiring for everyone. And this is why nobody wants to come to San Francisco. It's getting worse and worse. You know, shoplifters, theft, violence. It just looks like this every single day, man. Like, do you really want to live in San Francisco? It's a pretty garbage place to live. And of all the videos and all the tourism stuff I've been seeing, it's all negative of San Francisco, and they really do deserve it. Oh, this sunglass hut is being robbed. You think the cops are doing anything? Absolutely not. And you do see people are just like, yeah, this is a normal day in San Francisco. Nothing crazy about it. So yeah, you kind of get the idea. And it's like this all the time. You know, Target has left just like abandoned massive amounts of storefront property. It's just completely boarded up. It's completely vacant. It's really, really sad. You know, San Francisco streets are also very apocalyptic. And I kind of see why a lot of these tech companies are slowly moving out for better cities. In fact, the streets are so dangerous that you even have IBM's Red Hat event. They're moving that to a different city. Meta has said they're moving that as well, with a lot of events now moving out from San Francisco, and these tech conferences are migrating to like Denver. So San Francisco's most unique trait, and the trait that actually allows people to put up with the craziness and stay, is the tech scene. But now the tech scene is basically gone. Small business owners are leaving, malls are closing. This city is now over. There's no point of saving this, and it's impossible to save at this point because it's a domino effect. When stores close, people leave, and when people leave, stores close, and it's going to be very difficult to reverse that.